Hello and welcome back. This is episode 4 of my Realignment series. We just finished the 2028 season. You can see we went 69 and 93. Um, just going through. This will be the off season 2028 2029. And trying a new thing here. I have a checklist that I like to go through in the off season just to make sure I don't forget anything. In the last episode, last off season, I did kind of mess up international free agency a little bit. Missed out on a lot of those really good prospects because, well, I didn't see that the deadline was, or that the signing had begun. This year, barring any crazy happenings, it should happen in February like I thought it would. We'll also go through awards here once we get to that point. I don't know. Jackson Ferris fell off a little bit. He'd be our only potential award contender. I don't know if any of these guys would qualify for Rookie of the Year. Maybe Cooper Kinney has a chance at that, depending on how some other rookies did. But yeah, we'll see. Ferris would maybe also be considered a rookie too. Yeah, I mean he's only had a little bit of time for Tampa Bay. So, going down my list here, we've got international free agency. I always do the scouting training every year. You can see there's some international free agents. This is kind of a weird thing I've noticed that happens sometimes where not every international free agent will get signed. They'll carry over to the next year. It's not a big deal to me, but it's a weird one for sure. So every year, once the new batch of international free agents starts in November, we'll run through and do practice to get more info and scouting accuracy on them. Then I've got it on here to do that in December and January as well. And I should add a February on here, but I'll do that in a little bit just because we technically can get one more in February with how it's structured in this league. Waive people, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. I went through our roster and kind of waived anyone that I wasn't interested in bringing back. And, on a 69 and 93 team, that's a lot of people. So you can see our full list of DFA people here. Tried to keep anyone with even a remotely chance of making this team. This could still change even throughout the off season, but we've got plenty of 40-man spots at the moment. So this freed up a lot of 40-man spots for us. Personnel. Our front office, when I went through and signed personnel, I signed them all to 5-year contracts just so I wouldn't have to worry about it for a bit. But, we might have guys get poached by other teams, retire. So we're good on personnel at the moment. And, in fact, our staff cohesion is static. We've got good teaching roles. And, even though these guys only have okay reputation, I tried to go through, if you look at their actual ratings, teach pitching, my managers all have good development in mechanics and aging, which are, I think, the 3 you mainly care about for those. Pitching coaches all have good development, pitching, mechanics, aging, so forth. I'm not going to go through each individual one, but those are the things I look for when doing personnel. If you can get good relationships with your players, that is the most ideal, but that's not a level of detail that I'm looking to get into at this point. Just good enough ratings will be good for that. Roster eval is just me going through the roster, making sure, kind of seeing where our positions of need are. Right now that's basically everywhere. We don't have, Cooper Kinney's a lock to make this team. Mooney came on strong at the end of the year. We've got guys like Santana and Zantello who are still really young, should keep developing. Serta is, okay at catching. I think outfield's our biggest weakness at this point, with Sonoha being the only one that's really doing quite well. And ideally, I've said this a few times, we'd like to use him as more of a utility type player instead of a starter. Um, Encarnacion could come on and be a good outfielder for us. Our pitching, also struggled at times. We've got Ferris at the top of the rotation. Snelling did all right. We've got Bello waiting in the wings if he develops a little bit more. But you can never have too much starting pitching. And our bullpen, Matsui, we brought back. Sinja, it should stick in there. The other spots are kind of in flux a little bit. Selvage did well as well in 37 innings last year. So we'll see how that goes. DevLab, you can see our prospect development. Now in the off season, we are now 14th out of 32. Two of our top prospects are now ranked in the top 100. Scott Sharpton, age 21. I'll start him in A ball this year. He had a good year in A and Double A after we drafted him. He could even potentially start the year in Double A, but I'll probably start him in A plus just to ease his development a little bit. And Eddie Rainville, very high potential prospect. Need to get his control up. So Dev Lab, started going through. I do have 10 spots in the Dev Lab just because I like that a little bit more than the default. I think it's 8 now. And yeah, I'll be going through and filling these with our prospects. There's not too much else to say beyond that. I'll be focusing more on, if there's easier programs that make an obvious difference, I could do that. I try to focus on areas like Sharpton has very high potential, or highest potential in power and avoid Ks. His avoid Ks is lowest, so that's kind of what I chose to target here. Rainville, he just needs more control, bottom line. We need to improve his control and ideally get some excellent results in there too to improve his control potential for him to fully realize what he can be at this 4.5 star potential. So Gerhard, 65I, he has 70 gap power, but that 65I is also high, and just trying to do, ratings that make sense for all these guys. Waiver claims I have not done yet. There's certain times of year where the CPU likes to waive a lot of people. One is the very beginning of the off season, so I'll be going through and claiming anyone that I think looks interesting. Probably gonna, limit myself a little bit in terms of I'm not gonna place a waiver claim on everybody. Probably just like a few guys, just because that's a really easy way to pick up guys. But someone like Owen Hall, who's only 22, and has pretty decent potential. Like, he didn't have a good year for Washington, but he's definitely worth taking a flyer on, I think. So we will do that. Budget again this year shouldn't be a huge concern. We've got $94 million to play with, and that's with maxed out scouting and development. So we will potentially look to sign some free agents this year. I mean, I want to do better than 69 and 93. Still signing guys that make sense. We're not gonna, go out and get whoever's the top of the line free agent is. Unless it's someone like a Juan Soto, where he's coming into free agency super young, maybe. And even then, I'd probably only target someone like in the outfield, or I don't know. We'll have to see what makes sense, but we've got the money to make some free agent signings is what I'm saying here. And then in terms of arbitration and free agency for our team, you can see basically no one that was arbitration eligible I want to bring back next year. It doesn't make sense for most of these guys. The lone exception is Matsui, who I've talked about before, came on and had a decent year. He is 33 now. So he probably will regress a little bit, but even if he puts up another decent season, that's worth, $2.2 million. So the rest of these guys spent most of their time at the minors, or Narvaez was like our backup catcher, and yeah, I'm not interested in bringing him back. Our minor league free agents, I went ahead and extended the guys that will take a minor league deal. Some of these guys, like Jesus Baez, who played in the minor leagues but is still young, I might look to bring back just on a major league deal. Throw him on the 40-man roster since we've got a few spots to play with, just to see, what happens with these guys. Yeah, and a lot of these towards the bottom are guys I waived. So that's an overview here. I make once free agency actually starts, I'll make a default short list with everyone that I like on it and kind of go through there. Rule 540 man, that's my reminder to, hey, protect the guys that you need protected on your Rule 5. We don't have too many guys that we need to worry about other people actually taking this year. The lone exceptions would be Correa and Martinez. Rodriguez actually just waived. He might get claimed by somebody, but I won't be too broken up if that happens. He's 26 years old, and even though he's got 3-star potential, he did not realize it last year. So yeah, and a lot of these other guys, maybe someone like Luis Conipa, but yeah, we'll go through and protect the players that make sense, and yeah, and then the international free agents are pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, so I'll just start going through the off season. I'll kind of break in at some intervals here that make sense. You'll see this list kind of color update. Green means it's good to go. Yellow means it's kind of in progress. White means that it hasn't started yet. Yeah, hopefully you like this little kind of tracker, off-season tracker as I go through. So yeah, this should update, and I will talk to you soon. All right, we are back. This is actually episode 5. I said episode 4 at the start of this video, but episode 5. And today is the International Free Agent Showcase. I haven't actually gone through to see. Maybe I'll do that live on camera just because it's fun to look at those guys. Everyone that we waived passed through waivers. We did go ahead and claim Dylan Lesko, Owen Hall, and Griffin Burkholder. All guys that are under 25 and have some potential. We also had Jason Churio, who was on the IL at the end of the year. Gonna see if we can sneak him through waivers. If not, I'll throw him on the 40-man just because we've got plenty of space at the moment. Yeah, I've kind of gone through everything else. Development lab is full of prospects. Adrian Santana is the only big league player that I threw on there, and that's because he's 23. We'll probably look to put Zanatello and Torin and maybe Chorio on there as well. Chorio, I have a problem where, there's not much potential left to fulfill for him. Could maybe try to up his defense a little bit just because that there's no max cap on that. But anyway, DevLab is good to go. Waiver claims actually are good to go too, so I can update that live on camera. And international free agency. Yeah, let's see what guys are out there. So we will go ahead and do that. And yes. Okay, so I did go through and clear this last time. I like to just make a short list of everyone with good potential in here. These are the guys that I consider signing, and we will add them to IFA. And all right, starting with pitchers. The pitchers are always, it seems like there's always less good pitching prospects, and someone like Matilde Benchimol is going to be hotly contested because he is a really good pitching prospect. I mean, we're going to go for him, I think, at least at first. But yeah, that he's relationship or interest in the league right now is very low. That will be very high by draft time because any pitching prospect with even a remotely decent rating gets up there. So, all right, let's see here. Personality and morale. Most of these guys we don't know, and so we'll just do potential for now. Yeah, I guessing Svanradi was one that was left over. Yeah, from wow. Actually, he's been hanging out for a while now. Decent ratings though. Like, yeah, he's not awful. I wouldn't be the worst to get him. Yeah, a lot of these guys will just have to see. Molinar looks great. I mean, his hitting ratings are incredible, and his defense is not awful either. We'll see what he looks like. Let's see. Let's go back to our IFA view. Ramon Perez has decent catching ratings, decent hitting ratings. Ramirez is durable, has good hitting ratings. Yeah, sure, we'll throw him on there. I like to target guys too, like Alfredo Cora, who looks good. At least our scout thinks he looks good, and his demand is significantly less than all these other guys. So try to get the bargain bin guys. I guess bargain bin's the wrong word for it because, you know, they're still quality prospects, but paying a lot less money for them. If for an expansion team like us, that's definitely, I mean, money's not a huge object at the moment, but it will be at some point. And so, yeah, we want to keep that in mind when we're drafting these guys. Chavez. Yeah, let's go to our batting potential and see. So in terms of power, Norm Underhill, is he a guy that we looked at already? I think so, yeah. And Molinar we looked at. Jesus Hernandez we may have looked at, but I like the look of him. Contact potential. Ramirez is already on there. Carabello is only a 3-star prospect, but because his power and eye are not particularly good. Enrique Gonzalez looks solid. And Alfredo Cora, I think we already, yeah. So how many more slots do we have? Quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 more. 3 more spots. It might make sense to potentially target, you know, some of these guys that are a little farther down and much cheaper. Guys like Caraballo. I don't super love him though. Guys like Billy Hernandez, who looks decent. I mean, yeah, honestly, like, even though he's only got 3-star potential, he looks decent overall. I would not hate that signing. Guys like Chris Medina, again, looks decent. And Zanotti, his catching ratings are not great. None of his defensive ratings are that great. He's only 15 years old, though, which is intriguing. You know, he's got lots of potential time to develop. Let's look at our fielding ratings and see if we can find some really good fielders out there. No one that has amazing ratings. Chicas looks okay. And then Underhill, I think we already, yep, he's already in there. Yeah, let's throw Chicas in there. what does he want in terms of salary? Chakos wants 210. That's fine. Okay, so we got a nice mix of guys in there. And we'll go ahead and run the practice. Okay, and Gonzalez and Medina went down a little bit. Everyone else seemed to be okay. So our international free agent for November is good. Budget should be good. I went through, yeah, a lot of these numbers will stay the same from, I don't know why this went up to 5.7 for the international free agent signing cap, because it's going to be, oh, well, this says 5.7, so, okay, weird. The last time I looked at it, it was not that, so, all right. But everything else stays the same. And yeah, we've got plenty of money to sign people, especially with, bumping up our ticket price a little bit. I like to go between 1% and 2% because I have 1% to 2% inflation turned on. So, yay, economics. All right, budget looks good. Arbitration, free agency. I'll leave yellow for now because I might want to go through and give some of these guys offers. I think the next big thing will be going through awards. So I'll go ahead and sim through all of those and then, cut back in once those are done. Cutting in real quick here with the trade as we are about to get to awards here. We have been getting a lot of CPU offers. Most of them I ignore. This was one that I kind of played with a little bit until I found guys that I liked. Turns out the Brewers are very interested in Oviedo, who played in the minors for us last year, briefly at the beginning of the season. Didn't do much. He is 26 years old. He is 25 stamina, not incredibly sad to see him go. Tatum Marsh, a fill-in player, he was depth in the minors, didn't really do much either. And yeah, getting a decent haul back for these guys. David Osuna, only 2.5 star potential, but he's only 18, plenty of room to grow. And Luis Lara, he's 23. He'll be good, at least AAA depth for outfield. Maybe could see some playing time if he develops a little bit more. And then Yanquiel Fernandez, who is a name I recognize from the Rockies, now in Milwaukee's system as well. And he looks decent. He put up good numbers in AAA last year. Only had 3 plate appearances at the major league level, but, he, worst case scenario, we don't hate having more outfield depth. So, we'll go ahead and complete this trade, and I'll be back shortly with the award results. All right, cutting in here with one more quick trade. We have Brixley, who was a guy I was not looking to bring back anyway, and Abelmek Ortiz, who is basically minor league depth, nothing too special here. Offer for Luke Stevenson. He doesn't look amazing, and he's 24 years old, but he put up, okay numbers in the minors last year. We need more catching depth. And then Cale Fountain is only 23 and, also doesn't look amazing. It's kind of and then Cason Wells is outfield depth. So kind of a one man's trash is another man's treasure kind of trade. I don't know if any of these guys will go on to do anything, but figured I'd note it here. More off-season trades, and I'll keep looking to make some of these trades here if it makes sense for us. So, all right, now I will see what the awards. All right, so awards. Not surprisingly, we don't have very many awards here, but Cooper Kinney does win a Great Glove. I haven't renamed that to Gold Glove, but yeah, he put up pretty good numbers for first base. Let's see, in terms of fielding stats. Yeah, 6.6 ZR for first base is pretty good. He could maybe even play second or third in a pinch. I might throw him in the development lab and see if I can get his defensive ratings a little higher so he can kind of have a little bit more versatility for us. But let's see, any other interesting names in here? Volpe, I know we looked at his ZR was quite high, 21.9. Ciani for the White Sox put up 13.9 ZR, 3.13 range. Yeah, that's pretty good. Our good old friend Drew Romo, yeah, consistently 4 WAR for the Rockies. Yeah, he 13.9 framing runs, which is what I like to look at for catcher defense. Is great. Junior Caminero playing first base now, doing quite well at it apparently. And Ezekiel Tovar is another name that I remember for the Rockies, putting up, good numbers for them. All right. Reliever of the year, Munoz for the Mariners. Yeah, he put up 3.2 WAR and a sub-2 ERA. He's continuing to do well for them. 39 saves on the year. That led the AL. Yeah, not surprising. Kevin Kelly got a few votes for us, though. He went to the Orioles, but continued to do well for them until he got hurt in September. So, tough break for them. But, he did what he had to for us and got us a nice haul of prospects. So, good for him. Hoffman for the Giants. Yeah, he's a guy that just came in and put up a really good season. Started the year with the Dodgers, got traded to the Giants, and continued to do quite well after that. So he will likely be a free agent this year. Yep. And, we'll see what he's asking for in free agency maybe. Let's see. So, Platinum Stick winners. None of our players, unsurprisingly, made it here. Although I would imagine that Kinney was close for first base here. Considering Alvarez won it with just 3.7 WAR. Kinney probably got some votes. Let's see. Evan Carter. Yeah. National League, Michael Harris, he's going to win MVP. I haven't looked at it yet, but he will be winning MVP. Cooper Kinney did get some votes for Rookie of the Year, but that ultimately went to Paulino Santana with a 5.9 WAR season. Yeah, okay, that's going to win you Rookie of the Year. Devin Taylor had a good year as well. Samuel Zavala had a good year, but Kinney got votes, so good for him. Arjun Nimala won it for the Pirates with a 5 WAR season as well. Managers, I don't really care about. It's almost always whoever just got the top record in the relevant leagues. Although the Orioles, I think, didn't finish with the top record. Yeah, that was the Rangers. So, still good for them. George Kirby wins it for the Mariners, wins the Cy Young. Ooh, but he did have elbow ligament reconstruction surgery, out for 10 months. That's brutal. That's brutal for them. Got hurt in September. Won't be back until late next season. They're going to miss him a lot. And no votes at all for Jackson Ferris. Munoz got votes. Tyler Fay got a vote. I mean, I guess Ferris did fall off towards the end of the year, but I would have liked to see him get some votes. Zebby Matthews. Why did he get votes? I mean, he had a fine season. Yeah, is just... Okay. And then Paul Skeens, he had a great season as well. And MVP, Mikey Romero for the Red Sox wins MVP. That's a little surprising, considering I know Jackson Holliday had a great season. 7.7 WAR. Riley Green for the Tigers also had a good season. I know Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford both had good seasons. That's a little surprising that Romero wins it. I mean, does he have? He did lead the league in RBI. He had 33 home runs. Yeah, I mean, kind of a weird result, but it was pretty split as well. So it wasn't a unanimous MVP by any means. I think there are lots of potential good targets here. Wow, Bryce Eldridge wins it over Michael Harris. That's a robbery right there. If you ask me, like, I mean, he did hit 51 home runs, 135 RBIs, 7.6 WAR. That's a good season. But Michael Harris, my God, he put up a 10 WAR season with an OPS over 1,000 and doesn't win MVP. That's a robbery. Anyway, those are your awards. We are about a week out from arbitration, free agency the day, 2 days after that. Not much has changed there. I did go ahead and add a few of these pending minor league free agents to the 40-man roster. This is where we currently stand. We have 33 of 40 players. I'll probably leave it at roughly that number. Add maybe guys like Correa, guys like Guanipa. Gavin Jones is a name too. I might have to do a little bit of tinkering here after free agency starts to get the roster where I want to, because I do want to pick up some guys in the Rule 5 draft too. That was a good source of players for us last year. Alex Mooney was a Rule 5 pick. He put up 2.4 WAR for us. That's, really solid. Sinja was a Rule 5 pick. He became our closer by the end of the year. For us, that's going to be a good source of talent. So I want to put in at least a few Rule 5 picks this year. So we'll see how that goes. But I will likely sim here now until the start of free agency. Not too much exciting, I imagine, is going to happen between now and then, unless we do more trades, in which case I'll cut in for that. But I'll see you soon. All right, we are here at the start of free agency. You can see there's some interesting names out here. A lot of these guys are guys, Yordan Alvarez. He wants more of a long-term deal, 7-year deal, and that's not what I'm looking to give him, especially since he would require giving up a compensation pick. Ditto Logan Webb. He had a great season for the Phillies, but he is fragile. He wants a long-term deal as well. What does he want? I think he wants like a 6-year deal. Yeah. What I've tried to do is go through. I've made a few offers on some free agents that I think make sense for us right now. Ortega is an international free agent. He looks solid. He looks like he could come up and play in the majors and do pretty decently. He only wants a minor league contract with the major league option, so I went ahead and offered that to him. Pitching wise, Tyler Anderson had a good season last year, and he was okay with a 1-year, $9.5 million deal. We've got some money to spend here, so I think it makes sense to take 1-year flyer deals on him and someone like Shane Baz, who, split time between starting and relieving. We could potentially use him in either role as well. Ideally, look to trade both those guys this season. And, if they stink it up, it's only a 1-year deal. Ditto Nolan Jones, who, again, for some reason, I know I went over this in one of the previous episodes, but they keep playing him at center field, and he's just not a center fielder. He's worth negative ZR. Yeah, and I think that dragged his WAR down a bit because he put up decent batting numbers. So if we could play him at first base or left field, I think he'd have decent value for us. And again, only a 1-year deal. He took 1 year, $15 million, and we've got the money to spend. So I'll see if there's any other interesting names out there. I don't think roster wise much else has changed. Um, yeah, I might have to do a little bit of tweaking here again as we get closer to the Rule 5 draft. I'll probably want to protect Correa just because he is 25, almost 26, but could potentially come up and play a little bit. I just, this potential is intriguing. And there's a few other guys. Gavin Jones is a name that he put up really good numbers in Double A after we traded for him. The CPU, I think, had him starting in rookie balls still, even though he was 23 years old and had decent ratings. I'm going to start him at AAA this year. And in fact, let's go ahead and promote him to AAA because why not? He looks like he's ready. And he's got a chance to even play in the big leagues for us this year. So he'll be on our roster. Steven Martinez, his overall or his potential has dropped slightly, but he's still only 21 years old. Still putting up good numbers at A. Yeah, he'll be someone that I want to protect. I don't think he'd likely be in danger of being taken in the Rule 5 draft, but he's someone who we want to protect regardless. And yeah, outside of those, Guanipa maybe. He's in AAA. He looks solid. He's only 22. And we need outfielders as well. So, yeah, we'll have to see how some of these free agent signings go. I did shortlist a bunch of guys who I'll look to bring in either on cheap or minor league deals, probably after the Rule 5 draft, just so I don't have to deal with, if they sign prior to the Rule 5 draft, then you have to worry about them potentially being drafted away from you. So, yeah, we'll look to sign them after. And what else? Oh, player development. You can see development lab so far. Ooh, Martinez is struggling. Bellows excelling. A bunch of these guys were frustrated, now on track. I think Grant was excelling and is now on track. So that's a little disappointing. But, overall, about half the guys on here are either excelling or on track, which is what I'd expect and what I'd hope for here. So let's keep hoping that these guys develop how they're supposed to. Yeah, and as soon as the midterm progress report hits for these guys too, I'll be sure to update that. I don't know exactly when that will come in, but we have the option of pulling them out of the dev lab if they're not doing well, which I will likely be taking advantage of and throwing some other guys in there if possible. So, yeah, I'll update if some of these free agents sign, if there's interesting trades. Otherwise, the next big update will be at the Rule 5 draft, which I'll be sure to do on camera here. So, stay tuned. Quick update here just to show the Hall of Fame ballot so far this season. Can see Elvis Andrews, Michael Brantley, Madison Bumgarner, Miguel Cabrera. Looking at guys that are their first time on the ballot. Nelson Cruz, Josh Donaldson, Zach Greinke, Ian Kennedy, Corey Kluber, Evan Longoria. Some very interesting names in here. Hyun-Jin Ryu, John Segura, Joey Votto, and Adam Wainwright. Some of those guys are guys that I would expect to get a good amount of votes here. Yeah, Miguel Cabrera is one. Joey Votto. I mean, Evan Longoria probably deserves some votes. Felix Hernandez only has 7% of the vote. What are you doing, voters? Yeah. So, yeah, well, we'll have to see how those go. No big free agent updates or anything, but wanted to show that, and I'll show how the voting goes as well. I don't usually manually cast a ballot. I just like to see the CPU do that. So, yeah, we'll see who gets elected this year. Is there anyone particularly close from last year? Not particularly. I think the closest one was Well, Bobby Abreu's in his last year of eligibility. David Price got 32% of the vote, and I think that's the closest still on the ballot. So we'll see. Ryan Braun has 42% of the vote. Okay. Yeah. So we'll. Oh, I did do the international free agent scouting for December 1st. That's how we look right now. I like that most of my guys are low, very low league interest. Typically, that means we can swoop in and they'll accept our offer. Unsurprisingly, league interest has gone up to very high on Benchmall. He honestly looks like a great pitching prospect, so I might still try to go after him, especially since he does have high work ethic. Molinar has low work ethic. I might tweak this slightly going into next month. Cora is a name that looks interesting, especially since, he's only 390, has high work ethic. Yeah, he might be someone we go after. Norm Underhill also might be a name to go after. We'll keep scouting these guys and we'll see. I'll be sure to do that live on camera. So, we will likely next up have the Rule 5 draft. Still haven't done much in terms of preparing for that. We'll need to see. There's some guys we can maybe get away with waiving, trying to pass a few through waivers. Jacob Waters, I mean, he was solid for us. I'll probably keep him. I'll have to see how it goes, but ideally we want to pick up as many guys in Rule 5 as we can. I'll probably limit myself to, again, about 5 players in there, so and some of those free agents are pending as well. Still pending. So we'll see how those go, if they sign before the Rule 5 draft or not. So next update will likely be Rule 5. I'll cut in if there's interesting trades or anything again. So see you soon. All right, very quick update here before the Rule 5 draft. I'll also probably do some shopping during the winter meetings, see if there's any good trades out there. As you can see, we keep getting a lot of trade offers for Yuki Matsui, so none of them have exactly blown me away, but I want to see if maybe, there's obviously a lot of interest in him. We'll see. We also signed Nolan Jones. Again, he will not be a center fielder for us. He will be a corner outfielder or first baseman. And the draft lottery results went pretty well, I'd say. We were slotted number 2. We had the second worst record, and it went pretty chalk for the most part. Mets will have the first pick. We'll have the second overall pick in this year's draft, which much better than the 8th pick that we had this past season. So, we'll have to see how that goes. I'll cut in if there's any good trades. We will maybe look to move Matsui if I can get a good offer for him. Looking for, ideally, someone who's close to major league ready. Your 23, 24-year-old type prospects, someone like, a Zanatello or Santana on our team, where they'd potentially play for us immediately and we could get a lot of service time out of them. So I'll cut in if I get any offers. I'll let you know either way what happens. And then, Rule 5 draft is on the 20th, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so I did get an offer I was happy with for Matsui here. No huge, amazing prospects in here, just a lot of really solid guys all around age 25. Keisel is interesting. He does have low work ethic, and they have been pitching him at A-ball for whatever reason, but he's probably close to major league ready. Eddie Rinders, again, kind of mediocre looking prospect, but only 23, so I'm okay with taking a flyer on him. And then the rest of these guys, Nate Knowles could potentially pitch this year in the majors. Max Coutant, more of a reliever than a starter, but again, could pitch this year. And Austin Charles, basically depth, but only 25. So lots of guys that are just decent, but I'm okay with that haul for Matsui. Yeah, and the Expos, I think it makes sense for them too. They came a game away from winning the division last year, so I'm okay with making this trade, and it's done. So if there's any other interesting trades, I'll let you know. But otherwise, it'll be the Rule 5 draft for sure this time. All right, so we are finally to the Rule 5 draft here. Did do a little bit of roster adjusting here. Benua and Fernandez are off. You can see we've got a few guys here that I'm a little worried will be taken. Chalice, I wouldn't necessarily mind losing, but there's a few guys that we just traded for or traded for. Jaworski, Rinders is one. Marcus Phillips. You know, I think these guys are not developed enough to be taken by the CPU in a Rule 5 draft, but we'll see. I wanted to leave 5 spots open on the 40-man so that we could get the full 5 from the draft. If there's not 5 people I like, I'll look to protect some more guys too. So let's go ahead and take a look. I haven't looked at this yet, so we'll see kind of what's out there. Okay, so in terms of potential, no one with more than 2.5 star potential, which is, not that surprising. Let's go ahead and look for guys who are at most 25. And there's a few guys out there. I'm sure some of them are ours too. Edgar Cuero. And catcher might be a position I look to target here in the Rule 5 draft, because currently we only have one on the 40 right now. And someone like Cozart could be a pick. Someone like Garcia could be a pick. I like Garcia's defense a little more, but Cozart had much better offensive numbers and still decent defense. Yeah. Okay, well, let's go ahead and I'll make a new short list called Rule 5. And we'll throw some names on there that I like. I'll throw both of those guys on there. I'll probably only pick one, but I think there's a decent chance that I will pick one of those two guys. If we look at other batters, let's see here. Batting potential. And I do want to see potential BABIP potential. There we go. For whatever reason, the potential screen, like they split these out in an earlier version of OOTP, and this never got added to the default page, so you have to add it in there manually. I like seeing that split just because it's how it shows up in the rating screen in the regular game. So let's see. In terms of power potential, Brandon Anderson is the big name here, but he's 25 and not fully developed, so kind of whatever. Albertus is interesting. If you look at outfielders, Connor Griffin has some really good. Yeah, let's look and see fielding ratings for outfielders. Vance Honeycutt. There's our good friend Chorio. He just passed through waivers, so I'm not super concerned about him being taken. Marshall Toole is interesting. And who was the other name I was just looking at? Connor Griffin. I think he had 65. 65 and solid hitting ability. He could play outfield. He could play a little infield too. He's a decent third baseman. And he's got really good personality traits. And he's only 22. Okay, yeah, this is a Rule 5 pick I like. Definitely a good pick. All right. Who else do we have here? In terms of power, no one over 55 power. Well, Tavares, yeah, he's not quite developed enough. Yeremy Cabrera looks okay. Alessandro de la Cruz looks okay. All right, let's go and look at pitchers too. I'm curious to see. Krosivli is a reliever. And he put up, well, they played him in rookie ball again. So the CPU, I'm not entirely sure why they play guys like this at rookie ball, but some of the, yeah. Now, Ismail Agreda looks interesting solely for the fact that he has a 9-month injury, which means we could just stash him on the 60-day IL for most of the season. Kind of a cheap move a little bit, but I don't hate that necessarily. Benua's ours, Chalice is ours. Let's look and see home run allowed potential, if there's any good names out there. Melvin Pineda. He's 24. Exceptionally unexceptional is a good description for him. He just kind of looks okay across the board. Control potential. All right. Let's see if we can find some guys here. Triple A. War. Jordan Woods. I mean, he's more of a reliever, but doesn't look awful. And then FIP, if we do. Yeah, some of these guys are pretty low. Jordan Woods is there again. Who is someone? Aiden Major has low work ethic. I mean, none of these pitching prospects are wowing me, to be honest. Let's do all levels and see. Ooh. Griffin Killander. Yeah, it's... Let's go ahead and customize to and do work ethic is high, because at this point that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Austin Gordon, Ryan Andrade, Josh Noth. Josh Noth. Okay, now this is a name that looks interesting. Yeah, he's only 23. He's got 3 solid pitches with the 4th potentially developing. Okay. He is another name to watch. All right. Lucas, Christopher Roshan, Fisher Jameson. All right, let's look at just individual pitching ratings then and see kind of who stands out here. Josh Noth is the one we just looked at. Trey Yasavage. Again, high work ethic, has leader. Yeah, I don't mind him either, even though he's 25. Okay. So... Let's turn off the filter completely and see if there's any interesting names in here. Look at batters first, and I want guys just solely that played at the major league level. Yeah, not much to speak of there. Landy May. I mean, he looks decent, and he's only 21. I don't hate that pick either. All right, pitching stats. Ooh, Jordan Hicks. $32. Minor league signing. So minor league signing. So did they waive him or release? Okay, that's bizarre. Okay, he comes into Milwaukee, has a sub 4 ERA, starts 21 games, and then they release him in the middle of the season. And he's picked up and signs a minor league contract with the Mets. Okay, that's just bizarre. All right, Max Carlson. Yeah, he looks solid as well. He's 27. Alex Cook only pitched 10 innings, but looks okay. Max Carlson. Yeah, I mean, he'd be a reliever, most likely. I'll go ahead and throw him on there as well. Okay, so if we look at all players, and we'll go ahead and just look and see who we've shortlisted here. Okay, we've got 12 guys shortlisted. Yeah, so I think we're good. I can get the full 5 out of this. Probably look to draft a catcher, 2 pitchers, 2 batters. Makes the most sense, I think. Yeah. Oh, Baez is ours, and so is Chorio. Yeah, that's because they're on our prospect shortlist. So we could look to draft Mela and Griffin. Let me look real quick and see if there's any other batters that I like. Scope all levels. Connor Griffin. Across multiple levels here. Yeah, I mean, he played most of his games in A and A+, but also did well at AAA, and so I think he'll be a name to watch. Braylon Payne, only 22. I don't hate that either. Zane Zelensky is a captain, is 27. Devin Fitzgerald. I've never seen Fitzgerald spelled like that. That's interesting. All right. What about home runs? Who led the minors in home runs? Caveras Tears. Tears or Tears? He's got 55 power. He's got decent outfield ratings. I mean, sure. Why not? Why not? We'll add him to Rule 5. Okay. So, let me just double check our Rule 5 eligible players and make sure, relative to like some of those guys that are out there, are some of these guys in danger of being taken? Jaworski, maybe. Or Don. He's listed as a catcher, but I think he's more of a DH or first baseman type. Phillips. He's more of a reliever. Rinders. Charles. Okay. Let's just go for the Rule 5 draft. We have the second pick. I'll go ahead and save. The guys that are unprotected, I don't necessarily mind losing. we'll have to see if they get taken. I think this will be a bigger positive than negative for us. All right, so let's see, who does New York pick? They pick Alex Lodis, which he is low to dece in skill level. Accurate. All right. Out of these Rule 5 draft guys, our scout wants us to take Jordan Hicks, which honestly, he could be a decent pick, but he's not who we're going to take first. Josh Noth looks really good in terms of a Rule 5 pick, and I also really like Connor Griffin. Given that our outfield was weak last year, I think I'll go with Griffin first and look to grab Noth in the second. So let's see here. Do we lose any players? We do. Noah Cameron. That's fine. He was okay for us last year, and he's 29 years old. So I'm fine with losing him. Let's see if any of our other guys got taken here. Jordan Hicks was taken immediately after, so can't pick him. Randall Diaz. Yeah. Some catchers that we weren't looking at, and JT Ginn. Okay, so Josh Noth will be the next pick for me. He looks good as a Rule 5 pick. And we don't lose any others. That's great. Dylan Smith, Cook, Alex Cook. Yasevich was one that I know I looked at some point. Schweizer, Dobbins, Etzel. Okay. Let's grab one of our two catchers here. But which one? I think Cozart is probably the better overall. Let's compare. Ooh, this is, I haven't seen this before. That's interesting. Lets you do a more direct comparison between these guys. It does look like Garcia is better overall and is a year younger, but also put up slightly worse numbers than Cozart did. I mean, I guess he put up better numbers at AA. Yeah, I'll go with Garcia just because he's younger. Yeah, we'll roll with that. Okay, and then none of these other guys were particularly interesting. Benua is ours, Chalice is ours, Carlson Reed was the other interesting name from Pittsburgh. I'll go ahead and grab him. And auto draft. And we were looking at tiers as well. Tiers would probably be the first one cut if I have to cut a guy. Wow, and the CPU is still making picks deep into the draft here, which is interesting. You don't usually see that, but I think we are now maxed out on our picks. Yeah, we have the full 40-man roster full, so we will go ahead and actions auto complete the draft. See if we lose anyone else. We don't, and in fact there's only one other pick, Homer Bush Jr. So we lose Noah Cameron. That's fine. I'm not too broken up about that. Yeah, so we still do have negotiations ongoing with Shane Baz and Tyler Anderson, as well as Ortega, who would start in the minors anyway. And I might look to see if I can sign some of these other guys to minor league contracts. I don't really want to take up any more 40-man spots. As it is, I'll probably have to do some maneuvering to get those guys who I'm signing to major league contracts on here. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, January 1st, I'll be doing another round of international free agency. There's also the Hall of Fame voting results, preseason international free agency. So I'll update if there's major updates between then. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. All right, we are at December 31st. This is the halfway update for our development lab, and here's where they all stand at the moment. Yeah, we'll likely leave a lot of these alone. Gerhard, you love to see excelling. De Jesus is on track. Everyone else is frustrated, which is not ideal, but you can see Sharpton's right at the cusp there. Hopefully he brings it up a little bit more. Ditto Justin Grant, he's right there. I think that I'm going to go ahead and pull out Contreras because he's right on the borderline of being, below this line, and he would lose skill. I don't love that. And so his odds of actually completing this successfully, not great. We'll go ahead and remove him. Ditto with Holman. Yeah, he was in a hard program, and he's not looking too likely. Yeah, so we'll remove him as well. Rainville, I'm going to keep. Roll the dice. A lot of these guys are kind of 50-50 in terms of if they can get enough skill to go up. Yeah, I'll leave the rest of them alone. And let's look and see here, prospect-wise, who... If we've traded for any interesting guys, Fugate. Is Fugate in here? Fugate's not in here. He might be one to throw in. He's still really raw. I like to typically go for more guys towards the AA or AAA level if I can. But guys that are still pretty young, guys like Owen Hall, who we just got on waivers at the beginning of free agency, or Wanipa, maybe. Let's look at Hall. I think there is... Okay, so unfortunately, we have to do only short programs from here on out. There's not enough time left in the offseason to do the long programs, so I'm not going to bother with any pitchers. Improving bunting or infield defense is not worth doing, quite frankly. Burkholder is a guy that's worth considering, maybe. Who else do we have in AA? We have Rinders, we have Fountain. And on the 40, Martinez is already in there. Griffin is the guy we just got in the Rule 5 draft. He is an interesting name. I could look to maybe improve defense on someone, and then Griffin has good stealing ability. I could look to bump that up even more. Try to make him an elite base stealer. Or I could do double defense. Yeah, one name that I did look at before, who I mentioned, where are we at? Cooper Kinney. Try to improve his infield defense some more. See if we can play him in other positions. I think that I like that plan. It is hard, but we'll go for it. We'll see how that goes. And then I will go ahead and Connor Griffin will go for a base stealing technique, I think. Try to get his stealing ability up to a full 80. Yeah, and that's an easy program, so hopefully he'll be successful in that. So we're coming up on, well, not much actually until the end of January. Put in a few free agent signings. We did successfully sign Tyler Anderson, and were able to, uh, well, he did not pass through waivers, but we were able to successfully waive someone off the 40 man. I think it was, oh, it was Waters. Jacob Waters was on our 40 man and was able to successfully pass through waivers. I put in a little flyer for Ronzi Contreras. He's only 29. He would be a decent reliever for us. I'll look at just outright waiving him. Maybe do the same for Shane Baz. The rest of these are just minor league contracts, so not much else to report. Probably will go ahead and sim until the next. Well, actually, I can just do this on camera here because I would like to, as it saves, I would like to go ahead and do the international free agency for January, and you can see they really want, well, this one's a different trade for Mooney. I mean, that's an interesting with that control though. Okay, yeah, no, that's a reject. Yeah, a lot of these offers I'm not particularly interested in, but our international free agency, let's go back to that because Molinar, he's now up to very high league interest. He also has low work ethic. He's someone who I don't want to continue pursuing. Underhill is very high, but has high work ethic, and we could potentially maybe get him up. I think the highest relationship you can get is very strong. So once I get guys up to there, I take them out of here usually and try to get more guys in there. Benchmall's still weak, but still looks like an amazing prospect, so we're going to leave him in there. Yeah, let's go ahead and real quick, are any of these other pitchers, exciting to me at all? Rosario, 30 stamina, but a good mix besides that. Quintana only has 2 pitches. Figueroa only has 2 pitches. What about some of these guys down here? Val Guerrero. I mean, he looks okay. And Venzor has high work ethic, but really only 2 pitches. Yeah, let's throw Guerrero on there. Why not? Just to get some more pitching depth in there. I don't think I took any other names off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so we'll run practice with these guys. And okay, we have 4 guys up to very strong. We'll get to do one more round of training before signings happen. We're gonna keep signing free agents here. I'll sim up to the Hall of Fame results and show those, and then the next big thing will be international free agent signings. So see you then. All right, quick update here. Today's Hall of Fame voting results. It's also the halfway point for our 2 late development lab guys. Connor Griffin, despite being in an easy base stealing program, is struggling massively. If I take him out now, he for sure loses ratings though, so I mean, we'll leave him in there and see if he manages to pull it back up. I don't know if it's because his stealing ability is so high already that he is not doing well. I'm not sure. I think probably just some bad luck here. Cooper Kinney also frustrated, not likely to succeed, but we'll leave him in as well and see how things go. And then as far as our Hall of Fame voting result, yeah, Miguel Cabrera, almost a unanimous induction to the Hall of Fame. And Zach Greinke also inducted in his first year of eligibility. Lots of other guys dropped. Evan Longoria didn't get the necessary. Madison Bumgarner also didn't get necessary votes. That's a shame. Hernandez hangs in there. Corey Kluber and Cruz. Wainwright gets a good amount. So does Votto. Maybe they'll get in the future. But yeah, let's go ahead and next interesting thing will be international free agency. So see you then. Cutting in here with one more quick trade. This one's a pretty decently sized one in terms of our team. Giving up Brock Selvage, who was decent for us last year in relief, made one kind of spot start, had a decent year in AAA. He's 26 years old. He probably won't reach these ratings. For Bo Naylor, who I hate his personality, he's very selfish, but put up 3.7 WAR at catcher last year and has been consistently good the last 3 years as well. He's on the last year of his deal, so he might be someone we look to trade. He is only 28. If we can get him to sign a decent extension, maybe I think about keeping him around. Either way, I don't think it's giving up much to get him, and we're quite weak at catcher at the moment between Cerda, who was just okay for us last year, and our Rule 5 pick Garcia. So, yeah, I think this trade makes a lot of sense, both in terms of short term making us better and potentially long term if we can flip Naylor for someone at the trade deadline or even sign him to like a 2 or 3 year extension. Yeah, I like this trade, so we're going with it. Fans don't like it, but sometimes you got to make the unpopular moves and make your team better. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Back here February 1st, and again, for some reason, I mean, you even saw it, I pulled it up on here, and it shows next year that international free agency signing starts February 4th. For some reason, it started early again this year. So thankfully, I noticed sooner than I did last year. I've gone ahead and put in offers on both Ben Chamal. Probably not going to get him. I'm over the cap technically with an offer on Underhill, but I can technically go over and get penalties, which I might look to do this year just for the sake of getting more good prospects in here. We'll see. I'm imagining that I'm going to get outbid on Ben Chamal. Underhill probably as well, but we'll see. Yeah. In fact, let's just go ahead and sim forward a day or two. Okay. Underhill, yeah, both of these guys want more money. And Connor Griffin, poor. Yeah, both of these, no improvement. Okay, so I'll go over at some point to the moves that I've made. There's been a few signings. I'll go over that kind of at the start of spring training. For now, development lab. That's a lot of red and orange. Okay. We'll look to do some more short-term things on here. And who do we have that could benefit for some defense? Cutter Coffee, maybe? I mean, he's already a pretty solid third base defender. Cooper Kinney we just did. He had solid outfield ratings as well, I believe. So why don't I go ahead and... Oh, outfield is not currently an option for him. All right. I could do Bo Naylor defense. Nolan Jones defense. I mean, his defense is not great. We could look to make Connor Griffin even better at defense, but that didn't work out so well with base stealing last time. So Martinez is already in there. Okay, so Guanipa's still young. He could still improve a bit in the outfield. Yeah, let's go for his defense. And Sonoha has kind of lost a step, it looks like, when it comes to defense. Yeah, I'm not sure why, but he appears to have dropped down a little bit. Let's try and balance that out, maybe. He is only 26 too, so I'm okay with that. Let's do outfield defense for Sonoha as well. Okay. And Benchamal, what is he wanting now? Going back to international free agency. Yeah, he's gonna sign for the Max most likely. Let me see if I can get away with Underhill offering him less than the max. I mean, not much less than the max if he actually signs for this. Okay. Let's do 4.65. Okay, 4.8, sure. And then we've got a few other guys that, I mean, Underhill just looks, he was, I think, my favorite prospect overall out of this group. Benchmal looks very good as well, but yeah, we're not going to sign him. And Underhill, at least we have a chance at. We can look to pivot if a lot of these top guys are starting to go. So hopefully Underhill makes up his mind soon. So we can grab some of these other guys we have strong relationships with and maybe nab them for, cheap before they get some offers in. Underhill likes our contract. Now he doesn't like our contract. All right, what do you want? He's gonna take the full signing bonus to actually sign. Okay, so I think we look to pivot here then. We've also got someone like Ramirez who, man, what do I do here? Hernandez is interesting. He'll sign for $3 million. Okay. Okay, 3.2 million. And then I'm going to go for some of these guys who we have a very strong relationship with and are super cheap. Chris Bedina wants 200K. How about 150? We're going to penny pinch at every opportunity here. Yeah, he takes 150. That's good. Billy Hernandez wants 600K. How does, 420 sound? Just picking a random number. All right, 420 sounds good. All right, and Chicas wants 210. He does have another offer from the Astros, but we'll meet that demand. Okay, fine, 220. There you go. All right. Yeah, I think this is better than signing one of the top guys. Cora was another one we looked at and has a pretty good skill set as well. Is Kansas City 230? We'll offer you 430. Yeah, I like this better than, outright signing just Underhill or Benchamal. Like, we need depth. We need more lottery ticket shots at these guys. So, okay. So if we sim ahead, Benchamal signs with Chicago, probably for the max, I'm guessing. Yeah, he signs for the max. Okay. Congrats, White Sox. Chicas and Hernandez both like this. Okay. Jesus Hernandez wants more money. He was our big signing. Ooh, okay. I don't want to pay him $5 million. So, who else here? Filter. What filter do I have on? Okay. A lot of these guys are starting to go now. Ramirez, Edwin Ramirez signs. Yeah, and Cora. Yeah, he. Do we look to go over the cap this year and go for Underhill in addition to those other guys? We have money to burn this year. I think it might be worth it. Yeah, why not? Okay. Okay. I mean, we'll do it. And then Hernandez. What are we looking at here? Penalties of 1.2 million. Yeah, I mean, I like him too. But I don't want to pay $5 million for him, so I might just let him go. Who else? I mean, since we're going over, we might as well go over. Were there any other guys who I liked who I threw on here towards the end? Cora, I already offered. Underhill, I offered. Martinez is still out there. What does he want? Ooh, 4 million. Okay. Lionel Garcia, 4 million. Okay, I'm not looking to spend like $3 million. Okay, but no one's offered him yet either. So let's see. I think I have average with him, so let's try offering 2.5 million. Okay. So $3.7 million penalty. I mean, going to our front office, we have $70 million in cap this year. And I don't know if that applies to next year's cap or how that works exactly. I usually don't go over the slot value, so oh man, all right. I'm just debating. Yeah, I mean, we're going crazy here. Why not? Some would say this is fiscally irresponsible, but we'll go for it and see what happens. Okay, Cora signs, Medina signs, Chicas signs, and Billy Hernandez signs. All right, so that is only $1.2 million worth of players. So we've got, you know, money tied up in Pena, Underhill, and Hernandez, giving us massive cap penalties, but I think it'll be worth it to get these guys into our system. Pena favors our offer, and both those guys just signed, I believe. Yeah, Pena and, oh, Hernandez signed with Minnesota instead for the max. Okay, I mean, that's fair. Underhill's still out there looking for the max. Yeah, I mean, we did offer him, right? Will it let us offer him? Okay, I think we glitched out here. All right, I'm just gonna leave it because he should only be accepting deals above some. Okay, so I don't think I can actually offer above the cap, which is fine. Um, we'll just go for some other guys like Carabello instead. I'll do this the right way. Oh my god. Okay. Fine. Take all of my money. Sure. And Tony Ruiz, he's got high work ethic. He doesn't want very much money. We'll offer you 230. All right. Okay, so we didn't get some of the best players that we exactly wanted. Ruiz, yeah, Norm Underhill. Yeah, so it glitched out, and even though we had offered him way more money before, he signed with Detroit for less. I don't love taking advantage of a glitch like that, so I'm okay with that. I'll just imagine that Detroit spent $5 million on him instead, because he would have signed with another team for that much money. So I'm okay with doing that. The Mets. Okay, I mean, I have 30,000 left to spend, so sure. And that coincidentally brings it up to 420, which is again just a fun number for some reason. Carabello signs. Ruiz is not going to sign because we are out of money. Who else will sign for that much money? Got some pitchers out there. Rosario. Rosario is a name that sounded interesting. I mean, he needs more stamina to be something besides a reliever, but as like a rough guy, like, sure. I mean, he wants 460. Will you sign for 420? We'll see. And we are almost to spring training as well. All right, as we update, Guanipa and Sonoha, both frustrated with their training so far. What else is new? What else is new? I mean, that's fine. I'll leave them both in. We'll see how things go. And Rosario likes the offer. Come on. Okay, and he signs the offer. All right, so let me just go to my IFA shortlist and sort by team. Okay, so our final signing for this year, we got Alfredo Cora, we got Billy Hernandez, Chris Medina, Mario Pena, and Caraballo. Yeah, I mean, that's a solid crop of players. Like, it's not any of the top guys, but I'd rather have a deep system. And a lot of these guys, as we are close to running out of space in our international complex, probably need to let some of these guys go or promote them, one or the other. Yeah, in fact, we'll just go ahead and bring both of these guys up. They're 18. Promote to rookie league, why not? Because our scout's going to keep finding guys and all that fun stuff. So, all right, since we are 2 days away from spring training, I might as well keep the camera going and do that. All right, as we get guys onto our 40. We did end up signing Tyler Anderson to a 1-year deal. He is a guy that I'll probably look to flip and trade. We've also got Ronzi Contreras on a 1-year deal. We got Shane Baz on a 1 year deal. Um, and we signed. Did we end up signing Jack Swinski? No, he's still in negotiation, but we have a 1 year deal offered to him. He'll probably take it. He put up decent numbers last year, uh, and you know, a 1 year deal for $9 million. We have again money to burn this year, so I don't hate that. And any other big signings? Not really. So I'll go ahead and go through spring training here. We've got a lot of guys kind of competing for spots. Yeah, I'll have to see kind of how things go. Um, Cooper Kinney has a spot secured. I'd say Santana has a spot secured. Um, Acuna and Mooney will be on the team to start the year, given how they did last year. Everyone else is kind of up in the air. We've got some Rule 5 picks like Connor Griffin, who I'd like to kind of see what they do. Backup catcher, I think Bo Naylor will be our starting catcher. We'll need to see if Serta or Garcia will be the backup. And then pitching wise, Ferris will be our number one starter this year. Gibson ended up having a solid season. He'll be in the rotation somewhere, most likely, barring a disastrous spring training. Probably going to stick with Snelling, Montero. Bello will start the year in the minors, almost certainly, and we might look to bring him up at some point. Tyler Anderson will look to probably make our fifth starter and trade him at some point. We got a lot of other interesting names. I'll be intrigued to see how they do during spring training here. Shane Baz is one who, we signed him on a major league deal. Gavin Jones is one of our, I guess, top prospects. He's not a top 200 prospect, but with where our minor league system is at, he still qualifies, I'd say, as one of our top prospects. And then, yeah, I'll just want to see how some of these other guys do in spring training. Again, I'll look to show any major injuries that happen, and I'll also cut in here. I need to fill in the rest of these spring training spots. I'll do that off camera just because I don't know exactly who I'm going to throw in there yet. But yeah, I'll show at the end here what our roster is going to be going into the year. We'll start the year with 30 players, assuming that these league settings actually took effect this time. Yeah, so this expanded roster should go through May 1st, 2029. And I'll look to see, which 30 players I think are going to be the best team. Currently, preseason predictions, where do they place this at? 73 and 89, which would be an improvement over last year, but not much of an improvement. So let's see if we can do better than that. If we could go 500 this year, that would be amazing. Probably still a sub 500 team, given what we've got at the moment, but I think hopefully we should be better than last year. And as long as we see consistent improvement, I think that is good. So I'll go ahead and go through spring training here, and I'll show the roster at the end of spring training. Yeah, we'll see what we got. Some very rough injury news here in the middle of spring training. Jackson Ferris tore his rotator cuff and is pretty much out for the season. So, yeah, not looking great. We don't really have an ace besides him, and he was probably one of the best players on our team. So we'll have to look and see what other pitching depth we have. We did go out and sign Tyler Anderson, Shane Baz. Some of those guys will look to be Trevor Rogers in our rotation. Man, that's a rough one. Um, yeah, we'll see how the rest of spring training goes. Hopefully, no other catastrophic injuries. All right, we are back at the last day of spring training. Probably put in some waiver wire claims here since this is another time when, as you can see, there's a lot of guys on waivers. But yeah, this will be our roster to start the season, pending any waiver claims. Jackson Ferris getting hurt and missing most of the season, if not all of the season, is rough. But we'll see how the rest of these guys do. Snelling, Gibson, Montero returned from last year. They'll be in our rotation. They all had good spring trainings. Hopefully they'll carry that forward. Rogers and Anderson are both veterans and guys that I signed on 1-year deals. Hopefully they do well enough, and I'll probably look to use them as trade bait. Sinja is still our closer. He had a good spring training. No reason to take him out of that role. Got Baz and Baez as our setup men. Baz could be a starter potentially. He's kind of on that threshold with 35 stamina, but he had not an amazing spring training. So out of these three guys, I think he projects best as a reliever. So that's where I'm starting him. If there's any injuries or anything, he'd be one of the people likely to slot into the rotation, along with some of our long relievers. Middle relief, we've got Knowles, Noth, who's a Rule 5 guy, who I'm leaving on the team for now despite not having a great spring training. Well, yeah, he had a high ERA, but decent FIP, so we'll see. Good FIP, actually. Small sample size in spring training, it's hard to know where exactly that's going to lead to. Iriarte did not play for us at the major league level last year, but put up good numbers in the minors, so we'll see how he does. And Lelaine is young, still has a bit of chance to develop. Projects as more of a reliever than a starter, despite being listed as a starter. Yeah, we'll see how he does. And I'll make Sinja our closer. Okay, and then in long relief, we've got Keisel, Correa, Reed, and Coffee. Coffee is technically a two-way player, but really is mainly just a third baseman. I mean, these ratings aren't amazing. Can come in relief in a pinch, so I have him to set to avoid high leverage and mop up. We'll see. As far as our starting lineup goes, leading off against righties, we've got Cooper Kinney. He'll be our starting first baseman for the season. That was the role he played last year. We're going to leave him in that. He did well. Acuna slots over to third base. I did remember to cross-train him. This year, he works better at third and Zanatalo at second. And that's where he'll play. Bo Naylor is our starting catcher. No reason for him not to be. He did decent in spring training. And Nolan Jones will be our DH. He doesn't have great defense compared to some of our other outfielders, so he slots in there. Sanoja will be our starting left fielder again. I have him kind of as the emergency backup in several different positions, but most of the time he will play in left field. Sawinski plays right field for us. Santana, our starting shortstop. And Connor Griffin, the Rule 5 pick, I'm going to start at center field just because he's got the highest defensive rating on our team. And our bench currently is made up of Yanquiel Fernandez, who makes the team off of a pretty strong spring training. And he, should hopefully play well in that backup role. He'll play backup left field and backup DH for us. So Cutter Coffee will be our backup third baseman. Could see some regular playing time in other. Well, he also will slot in and be our starting third baseman against lefties. I'll get to that in a second. We've got a little bit of platoon situation going on. Johan Fran Garcia wins this backup catcher job. The other two catchers who were in contention for that were Cerda and not Connor Burns, Galeese, and both of them did not really do much in spring training at all. Cerda had regular playing time, did not have great bats, and Garcia's a Rule 5 pick, so it's either keep him or lose him, and so he's our backup catcher. Mooney is our backup second baseman. Gonzalez will play some outfield and some DH, and Churio is our backup outfielder to start the season. Against lefties, mainly the same lineup, except for Mooney slots in to be our starting second baseman, which he did much better against lefties than righties last year. Let's see if we can do career. If we look at his splits, you'll see during spring training. Okay, so against righties last year, only a 574 OPS. Against lefties, he put up a whopping 961 OPS. So he'll be starting against lefties. And Coffee had a solid outing against lefties as well. He'll be starting in place of Acuna, who struggled. Churio also slots in over Zawinski in right field, and the rest of our lineup largely stays the same. So is that a good enough lineup to win more games this year than we did last year? I don't know. Losing our number one pitcher for the season hurts a lot. We have a decent amount of depth, and I'm interested to see how this goes. Again, I am hoping. I know I said going into spring training for 500. I think that's a little unreasonable at this point. I will just settle with being able to win more games than we did last year. So we'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching this episode. Next episode will be the start of the 2029 season, where we look to hopefully improve on our record last year. Let me, for reference, look that up. I'll look that up for the start of next episode. Thanks for watching, everybody, and see you in 2029.